Okay, so we are going to just do Unit 1, Lesson 3 pretty quick, based off of what would normally be done in the classroom. So what I want you to do is I'm going to ask you to pause the video. We have you do like a 30 seconds of quiet think time, just of what do you notice, what do you wonder about this graph, and then I'll have you follow it up with just a 1 minute of a small group discussion, again discussing what you noticed or wondered about this graph. So then pause the video, and then when everybody in your group is done with that, then you can have a whole group discussion. I'm going to go ahead and continue with the whole group discussion, so if you need to, pause the video right now. So some things that you may have noticed or may have wondered is one of the things that you should be noticing is notice that both of these have the exact same label on the axis. So this is talking about the tips from a restaurant, and this is talking about tips for a different type of restaurant, for another restaurant. So what you want to notice is that if you follow the shape and the number of dots, these are exactly the same, okay? But you should have also noticed that this starts at 1 and this starts at 8. So you might be wondering, why are these tips that much higher than this one? So maybe that's the difference between going to, say, an Applebee's and leaving a tip, versus going to a really expensive steakhouse and leaving a tip. So those are just some of the things that you should be noticing in your graph. You also want to notice that we have a peak happening here, and the same peak obviously is going to be there as well. Okay, so moving on to this. So let's just say, and we are not going to do this, but just creating some conversation, let's just say that you asked your class a set of data questions, but instead, and you collected the data. So why would you, if you were asking the entire school instead, why would you use a dot plot or a box plot if you use the entire school? So think about Lewis Central here. We have almost 900 students. That's an awful lot of dots, okay? Whereas a box plot is taking all of your information and condensing it into a nice, neat graph. Even a histogram might be a little bit busy because of the numbers that you would be displaying in your histogram. So it might not be a great idea. So what information is displayed by the dot plot that is not displayed by the box plot? So if you remember in the previous lesson, we said that a dot plot shows each individual piece of data. Whereas a box plot does not. What information is displayed by the box plot that is not displayed in the dot plot? Well, in the box plot, you get and can clearly see that 5-number summary. So in the dot plot, again, you have each individual data piece. And in the 5-number summary, if you remember, you have a minimum, quartile 1, median, quartile 3, and the maximum. Well, in a dot plot, you do see the min and the max based off of your dots. But what you don't see are these 3 pieces of information very clearly. Could you find it in a dot plot? Yes, because you could go through the work and find the median and find the quartile 1 and quartile 3, but in a box plot, it is already clearly graphically shown.